How's it going, everyone? Paul with Adaptable Survival. What I want to do in today's episode is go over some knife maintenance to take your knife from looking like this to looking like this. Stick with me as we get into it. So in today's episode, we are going to go over some knife maintenance, in particular, removing surface rust from your blade. So I just picked up this knife secondhand a few days ago. The guy bought it brand new, never used it. So there is some surface rust here since it's been sitting for quite a while. So what I want to do is remove that surface rust. And there's a few different ways you can go about doing that. One way that I know quite a few people actually use is steel wool and just basically scrape that off. I personally don't like to use that method. The method I'm going to go through today is how I typically will remove surface rust from my blades. Just using some baking powder, a little bit of water, mixing that up in a container, and then using a green sponge to, clean off the blade, and then just recoating it with some roasted walnut oil. So let me pull the camera in here and we'll get to it. So for this method, like I said, I'm just going to use some baking soda, and I don't necessarily need a ton of it. Basically, I just go till I cover the bottom of whatever container I'm using, because I can always add more if I need. And then the water, I add in just a little bit, because what I'm trying to do is make this into a paste. And I think I might have added a little bit too much water, which is fine. Put a bit more baking soda in here, just so I can try to thicken that up. It still is a bit watery, but it should work just the same. So as you can see right on the blade here, some surface rust on that side and a little bit on the other side here. So all I do is take my green rag, get some of that paste on there, and I'm just coming through and scrubbing this down. Put the container out here. And depending on how much surface rust you have on your blade, you may have to come in multiple times and clean this off. Grab out shop rag here. Now, just after that first run, we've already taken off a significant amount of that surface rust. I just come in here, rinse and repeat this process till I have the blade cleaned up exactly how I want. Important thing too is making sure that this dries completely, because you don't want to have water all over your blade. Alright, so we can kind of see my mess here, but looking at the blade itself, this is after the fact. I've gone over it 2 or 3 times now, cleaned off a lot of that surface rust. And then you want to make sure that you remove all of the dried baking soda that will accumulate on the blade and the handles as you're doing this. So now that I got this all dried off, all the baking soda cleaned off, I'm going to come through with some walnut oil. Alright, so as I said, we're just going to come through, add some roasted walnut oil on there. Just taking a fresh shop rag, pop this open. What I do, basically just stuff it down here where the opening is. Just kind of let that saturate a little bit. Then you just come through here, get a nice coating all over my blade. I'll even come through, do some on my handles, just to make sure we're preserving those scales and that wood. So that is how I prefer to remove surface rust on my blades, get them oiled back up and ready for my next outdoor adventure. Now there's tons of different ways to maintain your knife. What I'd love all you to do is let me know in the comment section down below how you maintain all of your blades, your cutting tools, all of your tools for the outdoors. Look forward to seeing how y'all take care of your gear. If you can do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe. That helps get more eyes on what we're doing here on the channel, brings those people into our community so we can grow our knowledge base together and learn together and grow together. As always, this has been Paul with Adaptable Survival. Adapt your mind, your body, and your gear.